Okay, so sure it hasn't changed. I'm just going to dive into what we're doing with the code. So I talked about how we are going to have something like a big text file like this, and what ideally I want, and what my solution file does, we could have it output to the screen. That's a perfectly fine solution. That's an acceptable solution for full marks. Or you can have it output to a new text file. So we can have, here is the starting text file that I've given to you guys. Here would be, I think this would be one version of it. And, oh no, that is the previous terms. Here we go. This to this. I'm removing block comments. Notice if it spans multiple lines, I actually remove the entire line because I think that's the right way of going with it, but you could decide not to do that one. But I go from a text file to a text file without any comments. All the comments have been removed. Notice including this is a multi-line text of comment of a comment block, and in the comment block, this entire thing, I would keep this, and then I remove, but not this, remove that part, and then keep the question mark. Do you see the text at the end? Question mark. Do you see the text at the end? None of this block, question mark. What would I get rid of here? I get rid of the entire line. What I would get rid of here? The entire line. Then it would be the line up to here. And why is this text not commented out? I would keep that. And why is this text not commented out? Right? That's what I expect for my code to do, right? I go through an example like that. I can change the example if I want, but I want to have something to test. That's the high level test, that I'm removing all comments in my code. Okay, so next up, let's look at our starter code. So the starter code, brand new stuff. I've changed some stuff, trying to make it simpler. I probably could have made it even simpler than that. I'm realizing now I could have just, had the text length beforehand, have the text length afterwards. That's how many characters got removed. I didn't have to return that number and just have returned, wow, I'm in a comment block or not. But I returned how many characters are removed. That's what this is for. Every time I deal with parsing out some of the comment, okay, there we go. I'm removing one of the comment blocks. I want to see how many characters removed, and at the end of it, am I still in a comment block at the end of that, especially at the end of the line? That's what I really want. Because if the thing spans multiple lines, I need to keep track of that. The previous version of this had a Boolean pointer, and so you have to, we're modifying a pointer. Yet it worked. Pain, hard to understand. So that's why I was trying to make it easier. So here's what we have. I remove a line comment. I can remove a single block comment. I can find the end of a block comment. I can shift my text over. We went over that in the pseudocode, right? I can take my text and things after the comment block. When I find the comment block, I'll go from the starting position where the end of the comment block is, push it to where the start of the comment block is, done, right? I just move text over. That's what shift text does. I can remove all comments from the line. So I have a single line of text. I remove all the comments from it. And then so this is being modified, and I save how many, I return how many characters are being removed, and am I in a block of comment block still, right? At the end of this line, am I in a comment block? So an example of a comment block would be right here, right? At the end of this line, I'm going to be in a comment block when I get to the next line. Even in the next line, I'll be in a comment block. And then I'm finally not in a comment block when I get here. At this place right here. This is just my prototypes. Notice I have two different versions of all my functions. I have this CPP version of it, which you don't need to touch yet. That is when we're going to be using the string class. I'm going to give you the solutions for this stuff at the end of the week when the homework's due, so we can't really push the deadline at all. And then the following week, you do the same darn thing with strings. So you're just going to try and find the equivalence of what we did for C strings and do it with the string objects. So just copy and paste the code. You can copy and paste the code and modify it to your heart's content. I'm giving you that code. So there's not considered cheating it. Okay. Here we have a comment. We have a bunch of text constants just so we can look at them. So here's what the start of a comment block is, end of a comment block is, start of a line comment. Okay. And my actual function, the thing that you need to actually implement, is right here. It is remove all the comments from this text file, and for the time being at least, we're just outputting with a printf statement. What you could do afterwards, and what my solution has, is you'd have something like this: constant char. I have to remove it because it's going to give me an error. Text out file, let's say the name of the output file that you're going to store things in. That's how I got these 3 files here. I outputted it to a new text file. So that would be the bonus version of these questions. This same thing, but I output it to a new file versus just outputting it to the screen. Okay. Here is a bunch of random tests that I made. I've commented it out, but if you've implemented everything, your code should work with all of these tests. They're just tests. Add more tests if you want. That's fine, right? This, I'm making a new character array with a particular message in it, and then I'm removing the comments from that one line of text to make sure it works. And I know exactly the line of text I'm testing, so I know exactly how long those characters, how many characters I should have afterwards. Same thing here. I'm doing it, but this time I'm saying, no, but I'm starting in a comment block. I'm going to pretend I'm starting in a comment block. What would happen there? So in this case, I'm pretending to start in a comment block, so I'd remove everything, actually the whole damn thing. Right? If I'm already in a comment block, this is still in a comment block until I get to this thing here. I'm still in a comment block. If I'm not already in a comment block, I do this entire thing here. I'm still, the only comment block I'm going to be removing is right here. And so that's what those tests are based off of. What I expect, and when I run my code, I test to make sure I get what I expect. So here is my main method. I'm going to read in a text file. So this is the file I'm going to read in. I'm going to call remove comment C. This entire chunk here is doing nothing. It's taking this file and doing nothing with it because I'm going to be implementing that next week. You can't test anything with this. You can't use it at all. It's just there. Remember I said make a function and just, it doesn't do anything. Just have it as some kind of, placeholder. Here's a placeholder. Does squat. Does nothing. It just returns 0. It's there. It compiles. I'll implement it later. It's a placeholder, right? It's someone holding my seat. Okay. Going back to my main method here. Here's my main. So this does nothing. This will do something. I'm going to remove all the comments from this particular file here. This particular file here has to be in the same directory as string starter. In fact, hopefully I have it in here. Do I have it in here? Let me see. Is it here? This might take me 2 seconds here. I am sort of glad it's going on another screen. There we go. If it would do it in any kind of non-glacial speed. So I have to rename that particular folder, but I'm in A2 strings, the folder that I put all my code, made all my code in here. This is my project file. Just because I keep on renaming it every single term, and changing it every term, by the way. Here are my text files. Here are my CPP files, or AC. This is the one that this or like this. This is the solution of the file. Here's the starter file I gave you guys, but where my file is right next to where my .text files are. Okay. And then if I want, I can do all sorts of tests here. So let's figure out what our code does. This thing is going to shift over my text from the starting position to the destination position. So if I'm getting rid of, here's my example, if the text was hello world, these are the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm moving position 6 right here where that W is to position 1 right here where that E is. What would I get? I would get hello world, and I return the value 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5 characters afterwards. That makes sense? That's what shift text is. You just implement that. Just moves text, all the text up to the end of the line, over. That's it. Find where the block comment ends. Simple function. I might have to I want to double check. It returns the index of that block comment, though. It doesn't return the pointer. That's the only difference from str. Okay. I remove a line of line of comments. Notice I have this structure. I set it to safe values, and now I'm going to do a bunch of stuff to clean it up. If I want to remove a block of code, in fact, I went through this. I said, you know what, I'm making it too hard for them, and I just gave you the code. All this does is it finds the, I find my block at the end. I figure out, by the way, if I'm in a block of, if I'm already in a block, and if I'm not, then I find where the starting of the block comment is. If I'm in a block, then the start of the block comment is the start of the array, right? The whole line until I get to a stopping point is in the array. And I thought through all different scenarios, and I realized, oh wait, this doesn't work. Oh, I can refactor this way. So I left all my thought process up there, just me typing stuff up. On purpose, left it there. If the block comment is on, then I'm going to, and I know I have a, let me see here. If the block comment is not on, I find where the block, and I have a block comment start, then I go into the block comment and then find the end. So this is the setup. And now once the block comment is on, once I'm in a block comment, I just shift all the characters over. Get rid of the block comment. So if the block comment is on, I check to see if I have one of these end indexes, if it's on that line. Otherwise, I get rid of the entire line. If this is less than 0, it means the entire line is going to be commented out. The comment block's not even on that line. The end of the comment block's not on the line. Otherwise, I remove all the text up to the end of the comment block. Shifting my text from the end index to the start index, moving everything over. And how many characters did I remove? It is how many characters at the end minus how many characters at the start. That's the number of characters that got clipped out. Okay. Remove comments from my line, and all I'm doing here is if I'm in a block comment, so let me see here. I can find the end of the line. That's the end of a new. If there is a new line at the end, it presumably has to be at the end. Then I'm just going to remove it. And I'm going to put it back. I'm putting it back afterwards. Just makes my life easier. Okay, so after doing that, that's just to simplify things. The real point of this is if I'm in a block comment, remove the block comment, whatever that entails. Otherwise, and I can do this afterwards, I find out if I have a line comment, I find out if I have a block comment, I remove the next comment, repeat. Until the number of characters does not change, I just find the next kind of comment, remove the comment. It's always going to remove some characters, so as long as that number keeps on growing, I just keep on removing block comments or line comments. Okay. And this whole thing is, I have to open the file, I have to read the file line by line, I have to close the file. Oh, and after I've read the file line by line, I should either store the cleaned up text in another file, which would also require opening that file, or I just printf it out to the screen. That's it. Open the file, or one or two files. Go line by line, ripping out all the comments. Close the files after you're done. That's assignment 1. You'll do the same thing for assignment 2. The difference is you're not supposed to use malloc. You're not supposed to use, because you should use new and delete instead of malloc and free. You're not supposed to use str. You should find a string, right? String find, I do believe is a function. We're going to be using objects to do the exact same thing. Line by line, instruction by instruction, we'll just find the equivalent in C++ in object-oriented syntax, and you're good to go. There's an equivalent to each of those things, and it's just showing you how the two things are effectively equivalent to one another. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to go over with this. So this longer than I was expecting, but please reach out and ask for help. Don't wait. Don't spin your wheels. Don't hope for the best. Ask. We're asking for you to ask so that we can help you. Not because we want to be ogres, but we know you need a certain amount of practice. And if you don't get that practice in, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And now's your opportunity to get that practice. Okay? So I'm hoping this was helpful. Make sure you do it methodically. Test along the way, and you will save yourself hours of time and heartache and headache by doing so. Also, breakpoints. Again, if you need a breakpoint, like I was doing numerous times while writing the answer for this, go to the side. Just drop, like in the gray bar here, just drop some breakpoints. And it'll stop your program there, and then you can examine it. So if I need to know if, for example, the new line pointer is not null, so I'm removing the new line, there's something wrong with that, put a breakpoint there. If that doesn't work, printf statement. You can figure out what the data says. There's no reason to throw your hands in the air and give up. If you compile your code, let's see if it is going to compile. It should. The screen's in the way, so. Damn, it compiles. All right, let's do this. That's a classic. Not going to compile. Crap, it doesn't compile, and it actually tells me what the problem is. Expected of this. And I look around, and there's nothing wrong with this line of code. I look 2 or 3 lines above and below, looking for something weird. There. Right? Save it, compile it, see if it goes away. Don't do it all at once. Save it, compile it, do a little bit at a time. If you keep it compiling the entire time, or almost compiling all the time, you don't get to these cases where you just get overwhelmed with errors. It's for you. It's not for me. It's to make your life easier by doing a little bit at a time. And when the lazy person that I am says you should do it this way, it's because it's the right thing to do. Okay, so with that, I'm going to stop, and hopefully this was useful. All right, thanks everyone.